The topic is minority economic enterprise, and we're talking to Mr. Stanford Strong of the MINORICO organization, Mr. Strong is the general manager of MINORICO. Mr. Strong, before we had our break, we were talking about some of the possibilities and some of the successes dealing with affirmative action. And what we'd like to do is to give you an opportunity to continue that discussion since we were interrupted by that commercial break. But let's continue our discussion about affirmative action, because I think that we are at a time in terms of the national political scene where much has been said about affirmative action, and I think you've already indicated that affirmative action is no free ride. And so let's continue that conversation.
Yeah, affirmative action gives different kinds of business, be it black or Hispanic or women-owned or what have you, any disadvantaged group, an opportunity to break into different industries of which they normally would not have that opportunity. And if we're talking about trying to even the landscape and to get all parties of our nation involved in the economic picture, then affirmative action is something that we're going to have to take a look at if we're trying to find ways to offset racism and to combat crime and things of that nature. You have to combat crime with economic opportunity. So affirmative action is something, you know, perhaps there need to be some adjustments made. But I think one of the things that helped MINORICO, it's not the only thing, but it's one of the things that helped MINORICO to grow was to, on occasion, be able to take advantage of the different kinds of minority affirmative action programs that either the U.S. government, Metro Nashville government, or private industry, be it Nortel, Shoney's, or Duracell, DuPont, that these companies offer to help to grow and develop minority companies. And in turn, these minority companies hire from minorities, hire minorities as a part of their staff. And these are some of the requirements that companies place on minority businesses. You can't just be 51% black owned and then the rest of the company be white. You have to also show a substantial number of minority hires as well. So it's not, you know, I guess the free ride that people think it is. We still have to be competitive. We still have to meet certain sets of guidelines.
Let's talk about MINORICO. I think we've already indicated it's found in some of the early struggles that it had to make. But what are some of the things that you deal with? And what, in other words, what do you do? And what impact or what effect have you had in terms of what you do?
Okay. MINORICO is a diversified industrial supply company. So we supply a variety of things to customers who have that office/warehouse environment, which is what our environment is as well. So we supply office products, we supply work apparel, we supply different kinds of industrial tools, hand tools, power tools, just all kinds of different tools, electrical tools. We supply packaging products, safety products. So we're equipped to service a customer such as a Northern Telecom, which manufactures and repairs telephones, some of the items that they need to repair those phones and to ship the phones, but also things like paper, things like office products that they use in their offices as well. So that's, I guess, our niche, so to speak, that we don't just focus on the warehouse or we just don't focus on the office, but we can approach a customer and say, hey, we can do all these things. We also break away from some of our traditional lines and try to supply unique things that customers are looking for that they have difficulty finding. So we kind of work as a sourcing agent for our customers as well.
What are some of the things that you find that you're called upon to supply that ordinarily customers don't have access to?
Right now we're working on a project for the Nashville Arena which involves supplying what they call ice deck. And as some of you may be aware, the Nashville Arena will house an ice hockey team. So instead of melting the ice for other events that don't require ice, they need to have something to put on top of it that people can walk on. So they're looking to us as a possible supplier of what they call ice deck, that they can lay down over the ice, prevents them from melting the ice down. So for us, that's an unusual product.
But now, for your organization, being an organization that was established in 1988, you say that would be a tremendous boost for your organization in terms of, because you're talking about quite a piece of equipment there to cover quite an area, are you not?
Yes, it's 540 pieces that we're currently trying to quote. And that's going to be a substantial bid if we receive that bid. And there is a possibility for some repeat business. They're thinking about doing something more permanent. And so this is considered a temporary bid. We might not get the business again because they may do something else. But it's, you know, if we can get this, hopefully they'll look at us for other things, and that's how you keep growing and building. You try to get your foot in the door in one particular area and then try to grow and establish a reputation for excellence.
Now, if you were talking to some young people this morning, Mr. Strong, in reference to some of the things that are required in order to be successful, and I think we've named this show a minority economic enterprise, but the things that we're talking about are general things that people have to do in order to be successful. What are some of the things that you would say from the experiences that you've had, the people that you've seen, what are some of the things that people ought to do if they truly wish to be successful in business? You know, every year a large number of people start businesses, but for whatever reason they are not successful. Let's talk about those things that will lead to success over the next few minutes we have.
Developing good writing skills, good math skills, good logical thinking, organizational skills, and if I didn't say it already, leadership skills. Those are the kinds of things that you're going to need, and you need to challenge yourself. Good oratorical skills. Challenge yourself if you're weak.
And so in all of these areas, we can always identify some things that people ought to be able to do in order to be successful in business, no matter whether that's a minority business or whether any kind of business. These are some general things that go with what we might call success. And of course, you have to have those general things in order not only to succeed in minority economic enterprise, but in order to be successful in almost any endeavor that you become involved in. Would you agree with that kind of statement?
Yes, I most certainly would. Developing your self-confidence, learning how to present yourself, and again, when you're weak in an area, force yourself, challenge yourself to develop that area.
Very good. And of course, we're going to take this break, and we'll be back with you following this commercial break.